Hey everybody, I am here today with one of our incubator guys, Sean, and Sean is a perfect example of what happens when you have the skill set and you do the right actions, you get the right results. And Sean started his business, I think we said end of June, right? That's when you joined us in the incubator and then started the business. We're going to talk about the business. And within 60 days, this is the result. He's contracted $20,000 a month in recurring fractional engagements, and there's more on the table. So he's going to keep growing because he's doing all the right stuff and he has the elite skill set. But I'm going to stop talking. I want Sean to introduce himself, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what got him his skill set and his background, and then what he did to get to this point. So Sean,
Yeah,
introduce yourself to the people that don't know you.
yeah, yeah. So for everybody watching, my name's Sean McDonald. I have been in the growth marketing slash pet space for years. When I say pet space, I mean like dog supplements, dog treats, dog food, dog toys. So I've gotten to work for a lot of different brands. I got to actually help found a brand. And the experience here that I guess we'll talk about is pretty transformational for me. Kind of stepping out of the corporate space, climbing that ladder, and moving into working for myself to gain time back. So I'm thrilled. But yeah, I've got a amazing family. Got a little kid. He's 17 months old now. Today is actually his gotcha day. We adopted him, which is really exciting. Wonderful wife, and live outside of Austin. So yeah,
That's amazing, man, and happy Gotcha Day, to the young man. And I remember when one of the first times we talked, back in June, you were telling me about how like the dream you have is you want to be able to drive him to school and pick him up, and I guess the career you're looking down the future, like that was maybe not going to be possible, and now it is. So tell us about kind
yeah.
of the bigger why behind why you wanted to undertake this.
Yeah, absolutely. I had been working, I was an SVP of growth over a public company, and it just required a ton of hours. You're always on demand. I was managing like 21 people that were underneath me. I started the job the same day we brought home Owen, or like the day after we brought home Owen from the
Man,
hospital. So I never got the paternity leave. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a little bit, for in my mind, I thought I was going to have to be able to have that space or figure out a way to have those boundaries to where I have the work, continue to excel at work because I love to perform, but also be able to have that space for Owen. But it was my first kid, so I didn't know exactly what we were getting into. So fast forward about a year and a half into it, I was waking up at 4 a.m. to get work done, going crazy. And I'd be on back to back, triple booked meetings nonstop. That's more about the culture of the company I was working for more than but I had been wanting a change for a long time. I'd been saying it, been wanting to do something different. And there was kind of an event that happened that catalyzed it, that helped me do this. But the why behind it was, I'm like, okay, my kid's about to start kids' day out. I want to be able to have the capacity, the time and space to drop them off at 9 a.m, pick them up at 2. And with the current job, it was extremely difficult. There was just so many demands on me. And so I was thinking, okay, what are some things I can do to actually change this? I guess I'll get into it in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, the big thing was it was kind of a big leap of faith to then start something different and move towards that, which I can get into more detail. But um, yeah, man, it all started with that. It was thinking about family and making sure it wasn't sacrificing the things I really love most. And so um, ended up, you know, taking the leap.
there you go.
Yeah.
And now look at you.
Yeah.
So Sean's story is obviously a really big success, a smashing success, and he's doing all the right things to grow it and give himself the optionality to be as big as he wants to be. I guess Sean, tell us a little bit more about, you mentioned like your deep marketing background. How how did that like before we met, I think you kind of already had some idea of what you wanted it to be. Um, what were you envisioning, and how has that come true, and what's been different?
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't have too much of a vision behind it. I know I think this is what this course really helped me uncover. I knew, with my skill set, there is like desirability across the space, especially in the e-commerce, growth marketing space. Um, and then niche it down, I've had lots of experience within a bunch of different pet brands. And so because of that, I've gotten to experience like growth to an acquisition. So startup to acquisition, working for a private equity company, and then also working for a public company. So that experience kind of niched me down into, okay, I know what I want to go after, and I want to help different pet brands, whether it's an accelerator program to, help them go to market, work on their brand identity, whatever it is. But really the tactical execution, the strategic, oversight of, you have a product, you just need all the different pieces and all the different things to accelerate your business. And I came from a place of constantly I hired consultants. I was hiring, agencies. And I think the thing that I came from was I was frustrated in the fact that, I would jump on a call with these agencies. I would be speaking with the founder of the agency, very intelligent, came from a brand background, knows what he's doing, and then get passed off to someone who just came out of college. Right.
Mm.
And so now you're babysitting someone else, and so I think for me, when I was thinking about, okay, what do I want? I want to offer people something that is, hey, only senior led expertise are you going to get if I work with you. I will be the one sitting on your account. I'll be the one moving that forward. Now, I will definitely grow it and figure out ways to have other senior people come into the consultancy that I'm building. But that was my main thing that I kept seeing. That was my agitation. So I knew the pain point of all these people who are sitting in these seats. And I'm like, man, if I could hire someone that had years of experience in something and bring them in and just have them pour their network, their knowledge, their insight into the brand, and especially like if you're niching down in the space that I know so well, which is the pet space, it was, that's what I had in my mind, but I didn't really know how to bring all the pieces together. And I've been working for brands, marketing, all this other stuff for years. But I needed the framework. And I think, when I jumped on, and it was kind of funny, Harrison, like I had been considering this. And it was a LinkedIn post that I saw from you that
Many such
it was
cases.
literally just like you were showing like, basically why do a W2 when you can do some fractional work or something. It was like some AI generated image. And I was like, I'll just reach out to this guy. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And then I'm always hesitant too. So I'm glad, like, the way that you reached out to me and were personable, and just the connection on LinkedIn and other things was really cool. And so that helped me take that leap, that step to say, okay, yeah, I want to join the program and just hone in the skill set to actually sell myself. So I say all that because like I didn't really have an idea of what I knew my niche already, and so maybe that's that is a part of what you guys help out with. But the other side of it was more of, okay, what are the steps to actually action on this to truly take the leap into consulting?
Mhm.
And I wanted a guide, to help me do that. And I knew that it would be worth it to jump in and get some expertise. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I can keep going, but
No, that's great, man. Thank you for
yeah,
that. And I always say like I only want people to join the incubator who are gonna get there one way or the other. And
yeah,
like my value, I believe, is always, and let's just shorten that timeline and reduce expensive mistakes, reduce costly time mistakes, and just get you there a lot faster. And this is obviously a great result, but the skills are yours. The skills are yours, and that's what I want to mention to everybody watching this. Like you guys in the incubator already, the the thesis, the whole thesis of what we do is if you can help your company that you're at now make new revenue, make new profit, or reduce expensive risks. So if you can add to the bottom line, and you have experience in your industry, well, that takes care of most of the game. And Sean clearly has that. So he's a marketing guy, career marketing guy, and he brings that skill coupled with the authority. So he's got all these great stories from his career, these great wins from his career, long varied experience,
Mhm.
and that's where it becomes an absolutely powerful offer, and you can have results like Sean gets because in like I love the pet industry. Before we met, I knew almost nothing about the pet industry, and like learning from you has been fascinating. But it's a really big industry, but it's also small. And I think like your reputation, whether or not they knew of you, but as soon as they look you up, they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, this guy's been in it. He knows he knows what to do, and that is such a big piece of it. And what I want everybody to understand is this is career equity that you've built up. This is an
Right.
asset that you've built up. This experience, these wins over time. And if you're spending that asset just in a career, in a job at a company, there's a lot of upside that you're leaving on the table.
Yeah. Yeah. And
One of the so that covers two of the three things that make somebody successful
mhm.
in a program like ours. This skill that ladders up to revenue and the experience that comes with that brings authority to the table. The third piece that makes somebody successful is the energy and the willingness and the ability to get out there and actually do the stuff. And I call it an entrepreneurial instinct or an entrepreneurial drive. But I want to talk a little bit about that, Sean. So,
Yeah.
what did it look like? So, tell the people watching how you did it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the tools that you provided were really helpful. So I loved going through the GPTs and being able to kind of like hone in on how do I message this the right way? And you know, that's kind of marketing anyways, is getting your messaging correct. Um, so you know, first it was starting with that, like honing in, figuring out, okay, this is what I'm offering. You know, I've done a bunch of different things, but how do I get down to the thing that I think would be the specific thing that people would want me for, you know? And so, yeah, I know Amazon in and out. I know how to get people onto Chewy. You know, you name it, e-commerce across D2C, all those different sites. I'm able to help people accelerate in their growth. But then it's like, how do I niche down so that people know me? Oh, they can do that for me, right? And so that was super helpful. And I think what was hard was I was like, I'd been doing a ton. And so getting more and more refined and being okay with that was not okay with me. So I was like, no, but I can do this as well. Um, so being able to get that was a key piece of it. But then the other side of it that was just, you know, that I've, you know, been telling other people as I, you know, share my experiences. Um, it's just connecting with your network and just consistently going after it day after day. And so even Harrison, when I started with you, you gave me this advice. Other people gave me this advice as well. When I was just saying, hey, I'm starting consulting, would love to get advice from you. Like everyone said, make a goal of connecting to outreaching to X amount of people within a certain amount of time. And mine was 60 people within a month. Can
Yep.
I connect with 60 people? I didn't actually connect with 60 people because traction started happening, but it was the like framework I put in place of saying, okay, I'm gonna dedicate today to reaching out to just 3 people and just being consistent with that every day, 3 people. You could probably bulk it. You could probably do 20 people all at once, but I just wanted to keep the, you know, back and forth with whoever I was reaching out with going. And so I just kept it kind of small and simple text message, just sharing a little bit, wanting to grab coffee, whatever it is, just to connect. Being as genuine as possible, but also being upfront,
Yeah.
letting them know, hey, no, I am starting this. I am looking for clients, you know, those type of things,
Yeah.
rather than, you know, loosely just being like, hey, let's grab a coffee. And then like, you know, jumping on them like an MLM. But I you know, decided instead just to, you know, reach out and it was pretty incredible. Like, um, and it wasn't everyone, like, you know, it would just, there was days where wouldn't get any responses or I would jump on a call and it was like, I can't even sell myself. You know, it was just really strange. It's one of those things where I had a low for a little bit of jumping on a call and trying to explain what I do. And I'm like, you know, cloudy on, you know, what is my offering? How do I, you know, how do I sell this to people? And I'm having to learn in that experience was just like, hey, it's not the right timing for this particular person, you know, and just move on and continue to be consistent with what you're doing. But yeah, started reaching out. lots of people connecting me with others, like, "Hey, it's not the time right now, for this type of thing, but you needed to speak to so and so," and it just kept happening. And as I was doing this, ended up uncovering, it's the majority of the success I had was through old coworkers who are now working at different places or starting their own business or whatever it is, connecting with them, and they absolutely have like it was perfect timing on, yeah, we're launching XYZ product and need your expertise absolutely in this. So that's how it all like started, was very much just those connections. And then I got another piece of advice too, which was go to trade shows or go
Hmm.
to conventions and that in-person connection. So the people that I connected with, all of them were going to this big pet trade show that happens in Las Vegas. And I feel like that's what really accelerated things for me. But I went out there, ended up having fun. Like you taught me about Replit. As soon as I
Yeah.
got Replit, I was just developing apps and having fun just doing those things. And I don't know how to code. But I was like, okay, let's do some sort of like really fun, you know, um, gamify the experience by announcing the fact that I'm, doing consulting and I'm going to go to this conference and I'm going to reach out to my network and actually engage in person. Well, that led to them introducing me to other people saying like, oh, you know what? Like, we don't need this right now, but I want to introduce you to so and so. And that's where my first paying client came from, was totally not someone I knew, literally just an introduction from someone else. And I, at the time, I even waved it off thinking, I don't want to do this. And ended up being, it's one of the best gigs so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, it was just the consistency. Sorry, this keeps,
It's all right.
I'm on my wife's computer. Let me just turn that off real
I don't
quick.
know. I don't know if AI can cut out the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ding. We'll
I'm gonna
see.
do
If
not
not,
disturb.
then you get the text message notification.
Yeah. Um, yeah, long story short, that consistency led to like the trusting in the process of, okay, if people are not going to reach out back to me or whatever it is, just trust that they'll get there. And yeah, nudging them every now and then to get some emails back or text message back. But I never did any cold yet,
Yeah.
didn't do any of that. Kept it within my network. You gave me that advice, and just stayed consistent. And I think the key was, staying consistent, and then also outside of that, giving them an absurd amount of, um, people can pay for, I would say, audits and things like that. Like most agencies do audits for free. But when you're getting an audit from someone who's been in the industry and I'm giving them insane insight that will make them millions of dollars,
Yeah.
um, I've been in the place where I paid for those type of audits, and I'm giving that away for free. And I think what helps with that is people see, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know how to execute it. Yeah, some people may take it and use it and not hire me for it. But I think what I was doing is like, yeah, it's a lot of my time, it's a lot of my energy, but it leads to the retainer that I'm looking for, right? And so I've been doing tons of different, revenue models for people, helping people continue to like giving away advice that I wish, it took years for me to obtain,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it during the audit before I even land it. So whether it's a good or bad idea, I think it's good because I think it gives them a nudge of what I know. And that's what has led to these two, the clients that I have today, that are super successful. And I've got, more knocking at the door. Now I got to think about my capacity,
I
whether or
know.
not
We're into like, how do we scale Sean? Like we we don't count our chickens before we hatch, but there's a lot more in the pipeline that could significantly raise that 20,000 a month number. But you said it, man. It's like most people. I have at one point I had data on this. I haven't updated the
yeah,
data in a few months, but 90% of guys that come through the incubator get their first paid engagement right here. People that you know. And a
yeah,
lot of people will say, like, my network's not big. Like, your network doesn't have, first off, it's bigger than you think it is. And second, if you approach them the right way, you're not going to get someone, your buddy, to hire you, but your buddy knows people and these people know people. And a trusted person making an introduction goes so far in getting and advancing these types of engagements, that there's a reason we start there. And a lot of guys get to where they want to get and they never even need to do cold outreach, which is great. If you want to scale it to multi-millions, we're going to need to talk to people who've never heard of you before. But there's a lot of space in between that where you can have a really nice business just by leveraging the connections that you have. And the other thing that you said, Sean, is so true too, because the personal connection piece, like even if it's a friend of a friend, we call them Kevin Bacon connections. If you have like 2 or 3 degrees separated, that's perfect. That's almost better in some ways. And then the other thing you did was just showing your skills through offering value and giving that proof. And that's something we believe really strongly into. Every client that you're ever going to have is going to have an acquisition cost associated with it. And if you're doing cold advertising, paid advertising, or you're doing webinars or whatever you're doing, you're going to conferences, trade shows, well, you're paying that's your cost. If you're doing it in the ways that Sean was talking about, your cost might be some of your time. But I'd pay that cost every day to get the outcome that Sean's describing that he's gotten here. And that's something that we believe really strongly in too, is if you have a way in, and a friend of a friend or a colleague, ex-colleague. So that gets you a lot of the way there in terms of how they trust you. And then when you show them the skills by offering something that's valuable to them is what seals the deal in a lot of these cases. Cause they're like, this guy, he's vetted through people we know. He's got the skills. He's given us free value. Like we need to get as much value out of Sean as we can. And that's where these kind of results happen.
Yeah.
All right, man. Last thing, and then we'll let you go because now you're busy, and now we got to figure out how we're gonna scale your time. But to somebody who's just starting out, this a journey like this where they've decided they're not going to buy a plumbing company, they're not going to learn KDP, they're not going to do drop shipping, but they know they want this new income. And they've decided I want to leverage my career skills. I want to be a fractional or a consultant B2B. What advice would you give to somebody who's at the beginning of that journey?
Yeah. Man, I know it's different for everyone. And jumping into this, like one of the things for me was, I knew I wanted to do this. So leaving the corporate world and jumping into it, I went full force, which put that fire underneath me. And that's how I like it to be. So I know that not everybody is on that same pathway. But the consistency, like putting time and attention to it. And I think the community of people around you just to encourage you, I think is huge because I've sold things across the board in a bunch of different areas, but selling yourself is so vulnerable. And and so even when you jump on a call, you can take it personally if people reject you. But I've learned that rejection is protection. So hold
Mm-hmm.
on. And it may not be the right timing, right? Like it's other people's timing, and you made that awareness call to them, and now they will do that. So really, it's consistency, being consistent with those outreaches. They may not get back to you right away. That's fine. Follow ups. That's very important. And in those follow ups, providing the value. And so Harrison, I think you've taught me this too, where there's one particular engagement where it's like, hey, it's not really the timing. And then I kind of said, well, this is something else I do in providing value in that follow up. And now it's led to could be a huge engagement for me. So that one's still working, but just giving it space and time. So consistency, reach out to those 60 people. The other thing is go if you are in a space that has conventions, trade shows that your network is going to go to it in person is so valuable. Even if you've already connected with them, just having that time to connect over just drinks or coffee or whatever it is huge. And yeah, and then surround yourself with people who are encouraging you to and giving you accountability in it, because the low moments suck, and when you're in it you feel like, oh man, like will I truly be able to do this? I had a time frame that I gave myself. Can I get clients by X amount of time? If I can, then I'm going to take this full force because I had left my W-2. Or do I need to go get another W-2? And during that time frame, it did work out, which is awesome. But it was scary because it was like, okay, now we're approaching that time. I have a lot of people that are tempted to bring me on, but it's not hitting there. So, yeah, that ability to have people who are around you, continuing to encourage you, have that accountability, keep you going, even when like things feel like they're not happening or working out, I think is huge. So I would hone in on those 3 things, and then if you can, the tenacity behind it, I think is important. So
Yeah.
just keep it going. It's kind of a grind, but, I think that's the important part is, don't give up too early.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love the community piece, and here's how I think about that. It's amazing what we can endure if we once we realize that it's normal.
Yeah.
And, like, that can be used for nefarious purposes, but it can also be used for good, and in this case,
Mhm.
obviously, it's used for good, but if you're starting something entrepreneurial for the first time, and you've never really done it before, and you don't have anyone else to tell you, like, you're gonna have some feelings that are that are new and different. Like you're putting yourself out there. You're selling yourself. It can feel vulnerable. It can feel you can feel rejection, or you can feel uncertainty. Or there's highs followed by lows, and then there's highs and lows, and that lasts forever. And if you feel those feelings for the first time, you might think, "Well, this sucks." Like this is like, is this what it is? Like I don't know, but this is hard. But as soon as you have other people who are doing it, you're like, oh, dude, that's baked into the cake. That's part of the
Mhm.
recipe. That's just part of it, and it always works out as long as you don't quit. Well, all of a sudden, those feelings have way less power over you, and that gives you what you need to continue to be tenacious and keep getting after it. And then you wind up like Sean, where the sky's the limit. I'll end this here, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for doing this, and thank you so much for being such a great part of our group and our program. I'm adding trade show stuff to the curriculum because it's so successful. So we'll talk again and see if we can break that down for people on the best way to do it. But thank you again, man. It's been a pleasure and a joy to be a part of your journey. And I said it a minute ago, but the sky's the limit for you.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, enjoy the gotcha day for your young
Yeah.
man, and we'll catch up here back in the chat.
Awesome. Cool. See you guys.